I typed in everyone but Barbara, and then I'll go back and fill it in later.
Okay.
Although I didn't hear Mary.
Yeah, I'm here.
Mary's here.
We don't.
Yeah, well, I'll read it off. So Gail is here, Rebecca is here, Carol Gans, Ralph Hightower, John Baldock, Mary McGrattan, Cheryl Shulman, Brian Cronin, and you, Ellen, are here. I may have mentioned this before everyone got on. The phone number that you see on there is me, as well as the Rebecca icon, because I'm going in 2 different ways to get into the meeting, and I don't have video, so sorry about that.
Did you say that Beth was present?
What was that?
Is Beth Remery there?
Beth is excused, and Barb, we're hoping will jump into the meeting soon. We are also required to record the meeting for the town. So citizens' comments, I'm assuming there are none. So moving on to a review of the meeting minutes from the special meeting on March 2nd. If I could get a motion to approve those minutes, please.
So move, John Boulder.
A second?
Second,
I
Shulman.
didn't hear it all.
Okay, it was moved by John and seconded by Cheryl.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
It got really quiet all of a sudden.
I think a lot of people have muted themselves just so we don't have feedback.
Okay.
Any correspondence, Gail?
No, none.
Okay. Treasurer's report, Carol?
Do you want to take a vote on the minutes?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. All right, so we had it was moved. All in favor of approving the minutes from the special meeting of March 2nd?
Aye.
Aye. Hightower.
Shulman.
Yeah.
I believe it's all in. Anyone opposed? Okay, so, the motion passes. We've approved those minutes. There's no correspondence. And Treasurer's report, Carol.
Okay, there are 2 that were in the packet. I just did the March one for March 31st, and we didn't do one because I wasn't there last time, but they're both pretty routine. Does anybody have any questions?
Nope. Thank you for doing them, and we'll accept them as subject to audit like we normally do. Was there anything you wanted to point out on them, or just their?
No, not really. So
Okay.
let's see. There were a couple of things shuffled around in where where they're budgeted. I made a note of that. I guess that's the notation that. Oh, it's not on this one.
Was that the contractual maintenance?
Yeah, a couple of things were it was just small amounts moved from one pocket to another, so it really doesn't make a big difference.
Okay, thank you. All right, Gail, your report.
Okay.
And thank you for everything you've been doing.
Let's see, the finance committee met, they've put off adopting the budget until May. Because of the current situation, the town does not know what will be coming from the state, and they want to wait as long as possible before settling on a budget. Since I've last seen you, I had the meeting of the finance committee just before the shutdown, but it's really impossible to know at this point what will happen next year. Overall, I felt that meeting went well, but a lot has happened since then, so we just have to wait and see. All but the 4 full-time staff at the library have been laid off. The part-time union employees were able to use part or all of their paid time off, and some of them chose to do that. The mayor approved, let's see, Lisa, Elaine, Stacy, and I continue to work at the libraries. The mayor did approve working from home starting April 13th, and some of the staff are choosing to work a day or two at home. Lisa, Elaine, and Stacy are all working on the collections and find it necessary to be in the building to do that. They've removed several books that have not circulated in 4 or more years if they meet certain criteria. If one of the libraries has a copy, or if there are copies available online, you may not need to keep it. They also check some of the reference sources, including books that should be in a core collection, to determine whether or not to keep it. The collections are being shifted or moved around to make more efficient use of the space, and the shelves are looking good. The Connecticut Library Consortium, CLC, and the State Library regularly send out emails about online training and resources of interest to libraries. The webinars cover things like virtual programming ideas, considering copyright, using a 3D printer for PPEs, as well as meetups with other library staff to share ideas. There are training videos with marketing ideas, customer service, and staff development, which would be good for the part-time staff if they were still working. On library services and programming, we have shifted gears into a virtual programming mode and are getting the hang of it. Stacy does a virtual story time each week on Zoom. She had 30 participants on April 15th. She also started a virtual book club for children ages 9 and up, teens and adults. Each day at 4 o'clock, she reads a chapter from The Dark is Rising by Susan Cooper on Facebook Live. When she finishes with the book, there will be a discussion. Each segment stays on Facebook and can be watched at a later time. We do not know for sure how many are watching, but there does seem to be interest. She and Elaine are also promoting the coding club, which participants can do from home. Elaine held the cookbook club this week on Zoom with 7 participants. While they could not sample each other's dish, they were able to talk about it. Lisa and Harry Pearson conducted the president's book discussion with Zoom, and Harry plans to hold the stock discussion groups that way. The community seems to be embracing the ideas as they become more familiar with the technology. With the collection, we're not able to provide the community access to our physical collection of items, but we are doing more with digital resources. We adjusted our spending accordingly, purchasing more of these items. We doubled the checkouts allowed for Hoopla, and the community has taken advantage of that. I also added more digital titles to Overdrive for our patrons. We've been working to get the word out, highlighting a digital collection or resource every few days. We get multiple requests a day by phone or email from patrons asking to renew a library card or get a new card so they can access the online resources, wanting to know where they can fax something, use a computer, or print something out, and when we will reopen. Some of our regulars call with a reference question or because they want to tell us something. We have 6 to 8 people a day in our parking lot using the library's Wi-Fi. It is quiet in the building and very unnatural not to have people coming through. Under library news, the census grant I applied for and received a small grant, $410, from the Community Foundation to support our work promoting the census. We had hoped to do some outreach working with the Senior Center and the senior housing, helping people to fill out their forms online. We are unable to do that because of the stay-in-place order, and I was afraid we may need to return the funds. However, I wondered if they would allow us to use the funds for a different project. I asked if we could purchase supplies to use our 3D printer to make components that would help with making face masks. The request was approved, and the library is now helping to support a project that is led by May Stevens. Andrea Bucher is volunteering her time as the point person for the library. We're making jigs to help with the bias tape for ties and for pleating the masks before sewing. The jigs speed up the process immensely. On strategic planning, we've started working on some of the action items in the strategic plan. The library purchased Canva, a product that makes designing all types of publicity information, from logos and letterheads to flyers and social media posts, easy. I asked the existing staff to create a flyer for the same program and to work on a logo and brand for the library. We will meet to critique each one and come up with a recommendation. I also requested a PR package from Lee Howard at the Day that outlines how to get your information published and includes a current list of contacts. Reopening plans. The Lion Board will meet virtually this week, actually, and in addition to a library status update, we will discuss how libraries plan to reopen. Reopening plans are looking at a staged opening versus all at once. I think a lot will depend on the timing and the coronavirus situation. Also on the agenda is the CARES Act and how individual libraries can make use of the funding. The information coming out from the state library suggests they want it used for connectivity and or providing mobile hotspots for the public. Under building news, the parking lot in front of Gales Ferry Library is scheduled to be paved on Friday, April 17th, last week. Sean at Public Works is also still planning to replace the furnaces at Bill Library this spring. And that is my report.
Gail, do you have any sense from the other libraries in the consortium whether they also experience layoffs?
For the most part, they have not. I expect to get an update tomorrow when I talk to them, but just before our people were laid off, I asked a question that was, what, 2 weeks ago? And at that point, no one had laid anybody off.
Yeah, and related to that, I first of all, I wanted to thank everyone for getting back to me so quickly on the letter that we put together to send to the mayor, and I also shared it with the HR person, just to give you guys I never got a response, which I didn't necessarily expect, but I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that. But I was grateful of how quickly everyone turned that around for me. And Gail, I had a question for you. The fact that you're using the 3D printers is so amazing and wonderful. Is that something that you've advertised, that you've done that on Facebook, or put it out there just so people know about it?
Yes, we've had several posts. We've showed it working. We've done pictures of the jigs that we've made. And I know it's been shared a couple of times, but feel free to go in and share it again.
Okay, I'll go seek them out. I apologize. I've been avoiding Facebook, but thank you for getting that out there, because that's exciting.
Yes.
Any other comments on Gail's report? As far as committee reports, we had John, but it looks like he might have gotten disconnected. So I don't know, Gail, do you know if there's a Friends report?
I know that they canceled their meeting the end of this month because of the situation. They're going to reschedule it in June, which will be their next meeting.
Okay.
Obviously, there's no programming right now. Everything is canceled, kind of on hold.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And Strategic Planning Committee, it's great that you're moving forward on stuff, and that's really exciting about the logo software that you have. And you know, it's nice to see that moving forward, even though so many things are on hold.
I actually have a question for you about that and the whole group, really. Before the shutdown, we had scheduled some presentations on the plan, and of course, that all fell apart. How would you feel about doing it online, doing it virtually?
Huh. I could do that. And I'm like, and they won't have to see me. It's perfect.
I think it's a really good idea.
You know, we're starting to schedule more programs that way, and
Welcome back, John.
And if you're willing to do that, you know, we can talk about when that would work.
Okay. Yeah, a little of your audio cut out, but yeah, no, I'm happy to do that.
Do
you have?
I get a message every so often that my internet is unstable.
Yeah.
Do you think that the I'm sorry, Rebecca.
No, you're fine.
Do you think that the Canva software is something that you might be able to make available to people who hold library cards or people who use the library, or is it you can only use it on one machine? Like, could you know, library patrons use it?
I'm not sure that it would work for library patrons. Hold that thought. Rebecca, I see that Ellen has her hand raised. Let me see if I can see what she's asking.
Yeah, or Ellen, feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question.
Ellen?
Can you hear me?
I can
We
hear
can
you
now,
now,
yeah.
yes.
So I had myself muted, so you didn't hear me typing, but I don't know why my hand is raised. I probably just hit something wrong when I muted myself.
Okay.
I can figure out how to.
Okay, let me go back to Cheryl's question.
And John, I know you disconnected. Oh yeah.
My laptop died, so it was unplugged, so I had to go get a cord and plug it in. I apologize for that.
No worries.
Welcome back.
Yeah, so
Back.
Cheryl was asking about the software, the Canva, whether it would be available to patrons as well.
Right. I don't believe we could make it available to patrons. I know we can share it among staff, but that's a good question of whether it would be available for the public. I know there's so many things that we've been trying. Some of them have free versions that don't have all the features. I'm not sure if that's one of them. So I don't know. I don't know whether it could be shared with the patrons.
What software are you talking about?
This is Canva. It's a publicity software program. What's the word I'm looking for? For designing flyers, logos, letterheads, and the staff. I purchased it for the library, and we've been working on coming up with a new logo, new letterhead for the library as part of one of the action items in the plan.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it might be able to help people with job hunting and stuff like that, to make like business cards that have a a logo or whatever on it, or a template for their email. I don't know. I'm just like thinking off the top of my head.
Well, we can certainly look into it. And
Great, thank you. John, did you have anything from the Friends as far as a committee report?
They're basically not doing anything because they can't do.
Yeah, that's what we figured. I didn't want, we sort of went over that while you were gone, but I wanted to see if you had anything additional.
No, nothing.
And then as far as committee reports for the strategic planning, we were talking about the stuff that Gail had already done. And do you have anything additional to add?
No, I can't wait to get out there and tell everybody about it though.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so moving on to old business. I don't know. I don't have anything. Does anyone have anything they want to bring up?
I'm using Hoopla and Overdrive because I love to read and there's plenty of time to read now. So those are two great services that we really ought to be pushing frequently. I guess Gail mentioned you were sending it out every couple of days.
yes,
More often.
Yeah, I will say, oh, go ahead.
Yep, done.
Oh, I was just going to say, Gail, you guys have really done an amazing job just really switching to an online sort of platform, doing so much with such limited staff, and it's very impressive, so thank you. I wanted to ask, I know previously when we had talked about what layoffs had happened, you did mention that the woman who's the custodian is no longer working there. How is that working for you guys with no one? Is someone cleaning the library, or how is that working?
okay, so it's been 2 weeks now since they've been laid off, and we've done the minimum. We empty the trash on Fridays. We work down the counters. Today, I spoke to Don at Human Resources and asked if he would allow, Kim is still on the payroll because she's taken sick time and they were allowed to do that. So I asked if they would allow her to come in 1 day a week this week to clean the bathrooms and vacuum and do a little bit of cleaning of both libraries. He didn't tell me no. He said he would have to think about it because he didn't know how the union president would react to having someone come in for a day. The alternative would be to have the town hall custodian come over. And I did ask him if they still had their custodian, and he said yes, they do. So I'm really hoping that he'll allow Kim to come in and do a day's worth of cleaning for us.
Yeah, because it seems very unsettling to me, and I can't imagine how you feel being in a building where it hasn't been wiped down for 2 weeks. And there's only so much you can do, but you're still in there, and there are a lot of high-touch surfaces.
And
How's it working over at Public Works? Like, they must not have a full-time person, but they're there full, the people are there full-time. Who's taking care of that?
I don't know that they have a custodian at Public Works. I think they take care of it themselves.
They clean the toilets and stuff themselves?
I don't know for sure, but I don't think the town hall custodian cleans their building.
Yeah, I wasn't implying that they did. I was just wondering how they are dealing with it. It should be something similar.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't know what the situation is.
All right, well,
Excuse me.
go ahead, John.
Has there been any talk about how the Finance Committee and the Council is going to deal with the state's reaction to the virus pandemic? I mean, certainly there's going to be an impact on the state budget, which means there's going to be an impact on our budget. I mean, state aid's probably going to be less. I just read something in the paper about executive order that requires the town to choose deferral of paying taxes or a reduction in the interest rate. That's going to have an effect on town revenue. So has there been any talk by the mayor to department heads or the council on what the possible impacts might be? They can't be good.
There has been none. I talked to Bill Solms the other day, and he said he thinks they're okay. But if you think about it, the casinos have been closed for 2 months. So all of that money that we would normally get is not coming to the town. So I don't know what else. They're putting off having a public hearing and town meeting until they know more. But he seemed comfortable or okay with, you know, what we have right now. So I don't know any more than that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any new business or any additional new business? Going once, going twice. Okay. So I think if there's nothing else that people wanted to discuss, I can accept a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I had a question. I had something to say, but I couldn't get unmuted. I had mentioned in my response email something about the seed garden and was wondering if there was any way at all we can make use of that for people during this time. I don't know whether there is, but because I don't really know the workings of it at all, but it just seems like a resource that people could well be using if we were able to put them together with it.
This has come up a couple of times, and because we're not doing any kind of curbside service right now, we were strongly recommended against doing that in the library community now, not from the town. And the feeling was when you start putting things out there for people to take, you're encouraging them to come and be exposed or whatever. We had talked about maybe putting them all into a plastic tub and just putting them out by the patio and let people come and get them. And we decided not to do that. If things were to ease up in the next couple of weeks, we could conceivably look at doing something then. But
it's already been discussed. I didn't realize that. I mean, I didn't hear anything back, so I didn't know whether it was discussed.
Yeah, I did give some to North Stonington because they are doing curbside service. And Amy asked if I had any I could spare. So I talked to Laura and I did give them some. But we haven't promoted it to encourage our people to go to North Stonington either. So, and you're right, they're all there waiting for people to take. But right now we don't have a good way of getting them out there.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. I know Laura did write back to me with the note that I sent to staff, and she definitely talked about the seed garden, and she was really proud of it. And it's really a shame that it's just sort of sitting idle, you know, and seeds don't keep that long, is my guess. But actually, Brian, do you know, is there a way to like store seeds that might make them viable longer? Or anyone if they know?
I think if you keep them cool and someplace dry, they should be fine.
These are actually last year's seeds that we have.
Okay.
So they do last for some longer than others.
All right, well, you know.
Gail, do you have any feeling as to whether the part-timers are willing to come back after this stuff is over?
Oh, I think they are,
Okay.
very much so. I just scheduled a Zoom meeting with the staff for later this week, just to check in and say hello. And I've heard back from a good number of them saying, thank you, they're looking forward to it. Oh,
Awesome.
yeah,
Thank you.
I think they will.
Great.
My concern is that we not be prohibited from having them come back.
Why would you be?
Well, if they make cuts to the budget.
Okay. But you were at a skeleton staff in the first place. If they make cuts to the budget, how would you reopen?
Well, it would be difficult.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think they would not take every, I think the union people definitely would come back. And I just don't know where the budget's gonna go for next year.
Yep.
Yeah, well, keep us posted as you hear more on the budget, and yeah.
I'm actually
Any-
encouraged by what Mary said, that Bill thinks we're okay where we are right now.
Yeah, fingers crossed that plays out.
Yes.
Any other questions, comments, Cheryl? Or
No,
do I see?
I'm good.
Sorry, I saw your little box light up.
Oh, sorry. Playing with
No,
it.
no, don't be. Any other questions, comments? Okay. All right. So hearing no one has anything else, I will take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So move.
Second.
Okay. Thanks, Carol. Thanks, John. All right. So hearing no objections, or I assume no objections, I'm adjourning the meeting at 7:37. Our next meeting is May 18th at 7 o'clock. I'm not really sure which location, but hopefully it's an actual real location and not online, but maybe I'm just optimistic. But it's definitely good seeing everyone. I'm glad everyone's healthy and you know, up and about and hopefully doing well.
Keep up the
Yeah.
good, Gail.
Thanks for this.
Stay healthy.
Night.
Everybody.
Carol, I'm sorry, Gail, I will email you draft minutes over the weekend.
That'd be great. Okay.
Okay. Thanks so much. Stay well.
Yes, you too.
Everybody say well.
Yeah, thanks,
Stay
Ellen, for
well.
doing minutes.
Thanks, everyone. Nice to see you
Sure.
all.
Yes.
Bye.
Nice to see you guys too. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.